Hi, welcome to the Mental Society. I'm Amanda Dolan. I just wanted to throw this quick, super short bonus episode at you to tell you about something that I'm dealing with, as well as millions of other Americans. And a lot of you might not even know about it because it's not, impacting you directly. But for those of us that it is, it feels really big. There's currently an Adderall shortage, and that Adderall shortage began in October, and we are now in January, and it's looking like it will be until March until that normal supply is back. When the FDA announced that shortage, they cited several reasons, including there's just not enough people to work to make the medications needed. There's For some manufacturers, they're struggling to get the ingredients that they need, and the demand has increased. Now, like when we talk about the demand increasing, that in the last 10 years, there's a 40% increase in ADHD diagnoses. And as a result of the pandemic, with more of us working at home and parents watching their children doing online school, it became more and more apparent that more and more of us were struggling with ADHD. So I think we understand it better now. For me, not having my Adderall means that I'm not present for the people that I love because I can't focus well. I'm distracted. I have trouble hearing what they're saying and understanding what's going on. I don't work well. I can't focus long enough to sit still, get things done. I'll have a million projects that I've started and not finished, that are all just kind of hanging out there. And so for me, not having my medication causes me some anxiety. And so part of that means that, one, I might not take it every day or my full dosage because I want to make sure that I have it when I really need it. And I know I'm not the only one. And part of this shortage means that, like this last round of medication that my last prescription that I got filled, I called at least a dozen pharmacies, and finally found one that had it. And by the time I got there, someone else had gotten there and had their prescription filled, and it wasn't available. And then another one, the same thing happened. And by the third one, I got there in time, if you will. I was able to get it filled, except I had to pay cash. They wouldn't accept insurance. Luckily, that was something that I could do. Wasn't terribly expensive. It was about $70, but $70 is $70. And when it's usually $10 for it, that's, a pretty significant difference. But it's worth that extra $2 a day for me to feel like I am human and that I can focus and get the things done that I want to get done. I don't always notice, when I don't take it, but the people around me sure do. My daughter will call me out. She'll be like, "Mom, did you take your Adderall today?" Sometimes I have to think, and no, I didn't. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I knew." Or last week my my partner said, he's like, "I can always tell when it's a medicated or unmedicated day, or if you took your second dose, because man, you will jump from topic to topic and never really finish a thought, and you talk really quickly." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you were right," when I think about it. And so, Adderall is not really a life-saving medication. That's not what it's considered. If you think of insulin, if you don't have insulin, you might die. If I don't have my Adderall, I'm not going to function well, but it's probably not going to kill me, at least, as immediately as not being able to take a dose of insulin. But here's the thing is that a lot of people with ADHD self-medicate, especially those with undiagnosed or who are not medicated by their doctor, with a prescription medication, because that self-medicating does help with the symptoms, but it comes with a lot of other complications and concerns, such as overdosing. And since rates of, overdose have increased by about 500% in the last 25 years, we went from about 20,000 to over 100,000 overdose deaths in the United States. That's a big, big jump. And so I think that's part of my concern, is that the street drugs, if you will, are so different now than they were even just a few years ago. If you think about, the fentanyl, we've all heard about it, I think, or most of us, that fentanyl is in different drugs, whether that's heroin or cocaine. It could, I don't know. But it can be deadly. A very small amount of fentanyl can cause an overdose. And so that's my concern, is that if people aren't getting the medication that they need, that they're going to move into that self-medication, like self-medicating, taking whatever they can get their hands on, in the hopes that they can return to that normal functioning. And so while it may seem like an Adderall shortage that's lasting for about 6 months isn't, maybe doesn't seem huge to people that don't have ADHD or don't, experience, it themselves, right? It doesn't seem like something that maybe is that big of a deal. But here's the thing, and kind of the point of the mental society is, right, that our mental health impacts all of society. And so when people aren't functioning as well, and when people are using drugs, and when people are dying of overdoses, that impacts all of us in some ways, whether it's taking resources away from other things, because our fire department and paramedics are dealing with an overdose, which they should be. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but an additional, overdose that maybe wouldn't have happened if somebody had their prescription medication. That impacts us as a society. Heck, just people dying impacts us as a society. And people not being able to function at their normal, in their normal ways impacts all of us. So while you may not be out there like me, running around to different pharmacies and just hoping that they will have what you need, this is impacting you too. So I would encourage you to maybe even ask some of the people around you if it's something that they're dealing with, because 5% of, or a little less than 5% of adults have an active ADHD diagnosis. So chances are, someone. Now, those of you that are listening that know me, here, like me, I have ADHD. This is impacting me, and it's causing me some anxiety, it's causing me a lot of anxiety and fear that I won't have what I need to live the life I want to live. So, this is another really great place to open up those conversations and to start having more discussions about how medications can help our quality of life, how the change in the way that, drugs, street drugs are developed and, made and sold, and, with added things, and to get that a higher high and that cause more problems when it comes to overdoses, that 500% increase in 25 years is huge. So, go talk to some of the people around you. and see how ADHD is impacting them. See how the Adderall shortage, is it affecting them? And if it is, what does that mean for them? And then also, just think about like what medications are you on that if all of a sudden there was a shortage of, if you couldn't get those, what would that mean for you? What would that mean for your quality of life? What would that mean for your life, period? Because this Adderall shortage, just like with any other medication shortage, impacts all of us. And I think it's important that we talk about that and that we are aware of how broken our healthcare system is right now. And maybe even, see what ways we can impact change in that. And I don't know that there is, but maybe there is. If you all have any ideas on how we can ensure access to medications for everyone that needs them and ensure that there is enough production of those really important medications, I'm all ears. So, let me know. I would really, I'm curious. And if you are also struggling with this Adderall shortage, I would love to hear from you as well, so we can commiserate and maybe not feel quite so alone in our fear and anxiety of not being able to live the life that we love, and a life that we can focus on and be present in. So I look forward to hearing from you and hearing about your experience as well. And you can find other resources and more information, previous episodes and all of that by visiting our website at thementalsociety.com. You can find our podcast in all the places that you find your favorite podcast by searching for The Mental Society. And you can also find us on YouTube if you'd rather watch a video. Thank you for listening and hearing what is happening a little bit in my world and the world of the other millions of Americans who have an ADHD diagnosis. And with that, remember, you are not alone in your struggles. Hope and help are all around you. And until next time, this is Amanda Dolan, wishing you good health, mental and otherwise.